Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Touliatos and brought to you by his book, The Bible of Bodybuilding 2, over 700 pages, everything you need to know about training, nutrition, supplementation, PEDs. It's available on Amazon.com. When you're on Amazon.com, if you're going to buy that book, go ahead and buy mine, Real Bodybuilding, great book. And now all the way from Athens, Greece, where sometimes you can hear a baby crying in the background at this place. Please welcome Dr. George N. Touliatos. How are you, George?
I'm fine, Ron. It's about almost a month since we had a nice show.
Yeah. You guys out there, you got to come up with some good questions for us. We didn't get a lot of great questions, so keep the questions coming, and we'll do these. But we have stacked up some good questions. I want to start with one that I made the thumbnail because I get this question all the time. Do you know which countries anabolics can be purchased over the counter with no prescription? They mean, especially interested in nandrolone, primobolan, oxandrolone. I was told that Turkey was one of these countries. It is not. So these we're looking at are the countries, and your country, Greece, is one of these countries. But you can't buy any steroid you want in Greece, can you?
Listen, until last year, we had available nandrolone that occasionally you could buy it, but it's up to the pharmacist. Officially, it requires prescription that is kept for 1 year. Now we only have testosterone proviron that usually they don't bust your balls in order to get it, because officially they're not anabolic, they're androgens.
Okay.
Now we used to have primobolan until 2002 in Greece, and as far as I know, Turkey has primobolan, but I'm not sure if they require prescription. In North Cyprus, they don't require prescription because I have a patient who lives there, who traveled there actually from South Cyprus. Yep. And bought some primobolan for him without prescription. And as far as for Anavar, I know that in Italy, 25 years ago, it was available the spa, the oxandrolone from Milan, right? And also Spain has the Desma Winstrol, which is very famous, but I'm not sure yet if they give it prescription free. But those countries, they do produce the steroids, right?
Yeah.
Now, in Ireland, yes, I know many tourists that go there and get, without any prescription, the steroids, but they're not pharmaceutical grade, they're underground UGL, all right? And Egypt also have a patient from Egypt, yes, who can buy some sustanon from Egypt.
Oh, wow. So, it's ironic. Thailand, there's a lot of people from other countries that moved to Thailand for bodybuilding. Dennis James lived there for many years, and steroids are perfectly legal in there, but if you get caught with even small amounts of recreational drugs, you can go to jail for life. That's crazy to me. Steroids, no problem. 5 tabs of ecstasy, Molly, whatever, and you're in jail for 20, 30 years.
Also in Mexico, you can get for free. I mean, prescription free steroids in Mexico.
I think they've changed. Well, here's the thing: is technically you can't, but Mexico is it's a place where money talks. So you walk into a pharmacy and you say, I'll give you an extra 30, 40, 50 bucks. They can write your prescription or something. They don't care. The whole country's run by drug cartels, unfortunately. So yeah, I looked into it because I used to buy steroids in Mexico years ago in the 90s, in the late 90s. Yeah. The first steroids I ever bought were Organon Sustanon Redigex. I bought them over the counter at a pharmacia in Tijuana. Right over the border, just walked, but then I had to smuggle them back in and break the law. It was terrible. All right. More questions. Next one is, if you blast and cruise in order to keep your fertility, how long and how much HCG should you use if you're doing this every 4 months or so, you're blast and cruise?
Yeah, so how much HCG? 1,000 AUs are enough in order to keep your balls alive. And how long? All the way when you're in, okay? And all the way, of course, when you're into TRT.
So you'd use it all the time, not just in between blast cruises. You would use it all the time?
On and off. I mean, because, listen, when you're off, technically your balls are going to wake up again, but you need also this PCT protocol. But when you use constantly non-stop HCG, you keep your own production alive, all right?
Okay.
And also if you stack with HMG, it's much better, the result.
What is HMG? I get so confused. I know it's human chorionic gonadotropin is
Yeah,
HMG. Is that HMG something similar?
it's human menopausal gonadotropin synthetic FSAs that actually kicks the Sertoli cells. The Sertoli cells are the ones that produce sperm. The HG deals with the Leydig cells that produce testosterone. Now, testosterone, when it's the endogenous, when it's elevated, it matures the sperm. So indirectly, the HG improves your fertility. The real deal with the HMG, and especially when you stack them both, you increase both your testosterone plus your fertility.
So it has the word menopausal in it. Is that a drug that's meant for women going through menopause?
No, it's synthetic FSH. Okay, so
Okay.
you increase your spermatocytes production.
Okay. All right. Next question. The guy was very concerned that he might have ruined his growth hormone by not keeping the powder refrigerated. So he knows, I know once you reconstitute human growth hormone, mixing the powder and sterile water together, it must be refrigerated or else it will degrade. But does the powder also need to be kept cold, or is room temperature okay?
Now, when I travel to vacations, I take my powder right off from the fridge until I go to this place. Then I mix it and I put it in the fridge. So for a couple of hours, it's in air conditioning temperature, okay? Within the car, okay? So the important thing is, as long as you mix it, the same happens with either with the pen that you twist it or the bottles that you inject the ampoule, okay?
Yeah. So you keep those refrigerated, even the powder, it sounds like?
Yeah, but the point is that you can travel. I think you can travel with the powder itself. And then as long as you mix it, then you need to put it in the fridge.
Because I mean, I've never put my powder in the fridge. I just keep it in a cupboard in my kitchen. It's not refrigerated. It's just room temperature all the time. So have I been destroying my growth hormone?
No, check out your IGF-1 then.
Oh, well, all right. Fair enough. All right. Can I use EQ equipoise as the base of a cycle instead of testosterone cypionate? I'm trying to avoid hair loss as I'm predisposed to it. And what about stacking EQ with NPP, nandrolone phenylpropionate, 75 milligrams each weekly? Good idea or not?
Now, MPP or MD, the DECA, is less harsh on the scalp for hair thinning, okay? Because it metabolizes the hydronandrolone. But I don't find any big deal using testosterone when you use it in the androgens. So dutasteride, finasteride. So you can use alongside and make your hair grow thicker within a 6 months window.
We've talked about people that do DECA only cycles for TRT. Have you ever heard of people just using equipoise?
You cannot call something TRT when there's no testosterone there.
True. It's equipoise replacement therapy.
Come on. It's a very derivative. I mean, testosterone is a familiar hormone that we use it to substitute our own production.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever used equipoise? Have you ever done cycles without tests in them? Because
never know.
No, I mean, tests should always be the base, as far as I know. Okay. Last drug-related question: why has Telmisartan, which is blood pressure medication, correct?
Yeah.
Why has that become such a big deal in bodybuilding?
Now, Telmisartan is angiotensin receptor blocker. Is a new generation of antihypertensive drugs instead of the angiotensin converting enzyme, the ACE inhibitors. The two benefits that Telmisartan provides, apart from blood pressure that many steroid users develop because they kick aldosterone, is that first of all, it can remodel your heart. I've been using Telmisartan for quite some time, plus the losartan. And in my recent echocardiogram on my ultrasound in my heart, my ventricles has been downsized to the thickness from 30 millimeters to 11 millimeters within 10 years.
Wow.
All right. So when I was competing, it was 30 millimeters, which is considered LVH. Now it's not LVH anymore. It's the upper limit of the normal thickness. Is 11 millimeters. Okay. Wow. And it's a major progress. It means that my ventricles are larger now and they can pump more efficiently. And the other thing is that unofficially, it can lower your EPO synthesis, and then you can lower your hematocrit. There are some reports on that in PubMed, okay?
Yeah.
So there are two benefits. Thinner your heart. I mean, it becomes thinner. You reverse the LVH, and then you lower to a percentage the erythrocytosis, plus the control to the blood pressure, okay?
Yeah. So, I mean, indirectly, because I've heard it can help keep your kidneys healthier, but that's because of the blood pressure being lower, right?
Also, yeah, your kidneys, but also your brain, because you may develop a stroke, right?
Yeah.
Because hypertension kicks the brain. But the kidneys also, yeah, the focal segmental glomerulosclerosis and the filter, which is the glomerulus, okay?
Yeah.
It hardens when you use progressively and for years, trenbolone, or high dose of testosterone, DECA, that increase your blood pressure.